Well, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, Robert Meyer Burnett and Doomcock are at it again. Robert Meyer Burnett just did a video response to Doomcock's last video, and it's kind of fascinating. Now, I'm sure you're all aware that I think it was a few weeks ago, Robert Meyer Burnett came out and said, I saw all 10 episodes of Star Trek Picard Season 3 and it was good. And everyone was shocked because he's been one of the most vocal opponents to the JJ universe and everything. But yeah, Doomcock really had some problems with it, and he's accused him of being a shill and being paid and all this stuff. And I was watching it, and I really had a bit of a laugh at Doomcock's video because he's really stuck in the corner right now. Because I saw a little bit of one of his live streams the other day, and apparently he doesn't like Andor, and if Picard's good, what's he going to do? Because his whole brand is based on hating Star Trek and Star Trek being bad, and fighting the cultural vandals and using all these right-wing sort of style sort of culture war sort of arguments and things. And I'm like, what would he do if Picard was good? What would he do if he didn't hate Star Trek and Star Wars? Because it doesn't matter if the last Star Trek film or last Star Wars series sucked. People don't care about that. That's already passed. We're bored with that. We just want to know what happened this week. And if now Star Trek and Star Wars don't suck, what's he going to do? So he said, I'm never going to watch it. I refuse to watch it. And I'm like, well, of course, he can't watch it. Because if he does, he can't risk that it actually could be good. Because where's he going to go from there? So he was just going on and going on. And he's also perpetuating this lie that in season 2 of Picard, the AI came through and destroyed all of humanity. That never happened. Even Hali Cthulhu, whatever his name is, mentioned that, and he just said, well, no, it did happen, they just don't want to admit it, because apparently he believes that the AI would have just continued on after Soji alerted it to a problem and just destroyed all of humanity. So if you haven't watched Picard and you're watching his video, you might think that actually happened, and it didn't. So I kind of find that disturbing, these lying about something that happened in the show, because I've seen people do that a couple of times with little things because they don't want to admit something kind of works or doesn't quite fit the narrative that they want, so they do fudge it a little bit. I've seen people do that with little things, but this is a big thing. So Doomcock, he's stuck in the past. He's afraid, and I get a lot of fans are like that. They don't want to, they don't want new things. They're scared of new things. New things are different. Like he was going on about this Werewolf of Midnight or something, which is basically playing with like the old sort of black and white werewolf movies and stuff. And I'm like, that's exactly the kind of thing he would like, because he's stuck in the past. And it's kind of sad that he's got nowhere to go, and it's going to be fascinating to see how he handles this, to see how he actually responds to the show not sucking, because he gets really stuck on Worf, because in the trailer, Worf says that he prefers pacifism or whatever it's called. I'm a pacifist too myself. And he's like, that doesn't mean that he doesn't fight when he needs to. That doesn't mean he won't defend the people he loves. And apparently Robert Meyer Burnett said he does kick some butt and does kill people. So he may prefer pacifism. Doesn't mean he's actually going to be passive. He's not a pacifist. But of course, Doomcock takes it to the whole, oh, they've ruined the character, they've changed the character, now he's being cucked, now his balls are in Raffi's handbag and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you haven't even seen the show. And that's the thing he kept pointing out. You haven't seen the show. Watch the show. We can't just automatically hate everything they do, because what if they do something good and we don't support it? There are people out there saying, oh, you have to support everything or you won't get more. No, you don't support bad Star Trek. But if they do good Star Trek and you don't support it, we won't get more of that. We won't get more of good Star Trek. If you support good Star Trek, they might make more. And support that if they do. Because the reality is they just want to make money. And I know they have their own agendas and everything, and I like to act like Kurtzman is some evil arch villain or something. I call him Kurtzman, with a capital on the M. But the reality is he just wants to make a show, make a lot of money, and get, residuals and licensing fees, to pay for his grandchildren's, college fund, basically, that they're just there to make money. They're just using the IP. So if they make a show that actually does better, if Picard Season 3 does better than Picard Season 1 and 2, there's no reason they're not going to continue on in that direction. Now, the fact that Kurtzman even let Terry take over the show and have free reign and do something different shows a willingness to do this. And he has said, look, I want there to be different Star Treks basically for everyone. And I'm like, well, I don't necessarily want some of the ones he's doing, but there's no reason why he can't let someone do Star Trek that actually resembles the original Star Trek. Because part of the problem is Star Trek works on different levels, and Kurtzman doesn't see some of the levels it works on. So the fact he's left a lot of these elements out of his shows, and people like me are angry about that and missing them and not enjoying the show, it doesn't mean he did that deliberately. This is not an attack. They're not trying to hurt us. Now, some of the individual writers and that, they don't like some of the fan base, so they're trying to trigger them and that. So yeah, that's in there. But overall, they just want to exploit this IP to make as much money as possible, and they don't care how they do it. That goes both ways. They don't care if they upset us, but they also don't care if they upset their SJW friends and do something that we actually like, because some of those people are just wanting Star Trek to be JJ, just to spite us as well. So yeah, so as far as the trailer goes, I watched the trailer myself, and I felt the same thing that Doomcock did, that it looked like the same dark universe we've seen in Picard Season 1 and 2. But Robert says that is 2 minutes of 10 hours. You can't judge the whole series on that. And it's probably just the marketing department doing the same old thing, just marketing it like, extension of Star Wars. Dark, a bunch of rebels basically running around in the shadows because that's what they think people want and can relate to. But why on earth they didn't actually just cobble together some of the most bright, different scenes and show us how this is different from Season 2 and 3? Why they didn't do that, I don't know. But apparently they didn't, and it's not a good representation of the series. So it's going to be fascinating to see how Doomcock handles this, because if this goes well, he's screwed. And Robert Meyer Burnett, he will go whichever way the wind blows if the wind smells sweet. And I'm fine with that too. Like, if Star Trek suddenly changes, like, I hated that they destroyed the Federation in Season 3. The fact they're rebuilding it in Season 4, it kind of makes Season 4 bearable. And I was thinking, the last couple of episodes of Season 4 was actually decent and actually felt like Star Trek. And I thought, if they can go in this direction, I might be able to enjoy it. And then this preview for Season 5 comes out, and it looks like the worst scenes from Nemesis. So I don't know what they're doing and where they're going with that. But I'm willing to give it a chance. And I'm willing to be open-minded because I want good Star Trek. And I'm not invested in hating it. I've got no motivation to hate it. I get nothing out of hating it. My channel is tiny and is not based on hate. So these other people whose channels are based on hate, they make a lot of money out of it. They have to keep perpetuating the big lie in Star Trek. And some of these people, I watch their videos because we have the same opinions and love the same things. But once they get onto their personal opinions, like a lot of the homophobia I've seen from Midnight's Edge crew and Doomcock, clearly their response to the Don't Say Gay ban, they are afraid of gay people. They're homophobic, and that doesn't automatically mean hates gay people and hate crimes. It means they're afraid of, they think that there's something wrong and bad, and if you expose like your children, then there'll be negative. It's fear. It's sad, and I see a lot of these people like that. And once I start hearing that, I don't want to listen anymore. But for the most part, particularly Rob Meyer Burnett, we definitely park our shuttlecrafts in the same, bays. We really love the same things. So I do watch their stuff still, some of it, but I often have to switch it off once they get on their political rants, because it is mostly misogynist and homophobic and racist, and all their little diversity shields that, come and, prop them up and think they're going to get, an exception when, the Civil War happens that they're all pushing for. It's just a big, huge mess on that side of things. The culture wars and how popular culture has been drawn into that, and Star Trek and science fiction in general and all that. It's a mess, and I hate that side of things. But I do still watch some of the other stuff, and some of Doomcock stuff is entertaining. Some of these people, when they rant and go on, they are entertaining. They're funny. You can laugh at them because they're so ridiculous and you can see they're just lying and making it up, and they're just feeding the base, and you know that people are sitting there watching it going, yeah, because they're just hearing what they want to hear, and they're being fed what they want to be fed. And it's kind of fascinating and funny, and that's what this whole video is about, but mostly just Doomcock and Meyer Burnett being at it again. And I just want to see how this goes. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see how Doomcock handles Star Trek being fixed, if that's what's happening this season of Picard. It'll be fascinating. But I'm going to stop talking now. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm going to be watching this very closely to see how this goes, because it could be really, really fascinating on all levels.